Welcome back, everybody. You got Specs here, and today we're going to be talking about my Week 8 match against the Douglasville Dittos in the Woods Draft League Season 11. Uh, yeah, let's just get started. We're just gonna look at their team, look at my team, look at the replay. Hopefully, look at how I won. I don't know. Did I win? Did I lose? You'll find out soon enough. All right. So before I go into his team, into his team, this man has one regenerator, two regenerator mods, three regenerator mods, four regenerator mods. Yeah, that's a lot of quadra regen with wish support from Aromatease. Yeah, this is what we call a not fun matchup. Because some bastard decided to draft four regen mods and getting a little bit ahead of myself. It's fine. It's fine. You know what? It's fine. It's a nice team. Nice team. Okay. It's a really good team. I just hate you so much because it's like, what asshole brings quadra regen? Anyway, so first up we got Tornado Asterion. Very, very solid mon. Has a lot of good speed, and then besides that, it has pretty good offensive stats and pretty good coverage as well. So, in terms of stuff that threatens me, you got that nice. You got that. Oh, it's up. Okay, well, Icy Wind's apparently a usually useless move. Anyway, so Icy Wind's a thing. You got the nice Hurricane for something like Tapu Bulu. You got Heat Wave for something like my Mega Mawile. And yeah, so in terms of coverage, you got that. Focus Blast as well for Empoleon. But obviously, you don't have to run all out offensive. You can run just a very standard defensive set that would still do a good amount of work against my team. Knock off, turn, Hurricane. And Defog is going to work very, very well. Oh yeah, you pretty much always want to run Boots on Corn, especially if you're going to be running Defog. Yeah, I think Boots on Regen is just always really, really good in general. So yeah, literally any single one of these regions besides the Mega Slowbro obviously should be running Boots, except Tank Growth maybe, and maybe Mancha. Okay, well basically just Torn. But the point is it's still. Boots plus regen is just really annoying because the main way of dealing with regen mons is trying to whittle them down with hazards, and so running boots on any of them can just make this really hard to break. So yeah. Yeah, I finished talking. Oh yeah, this thing also gets Nasty Plot. I'm not actually entirely sure if he's allowed to use Nasty Plot in this league. I don't remember. I think he is. But the option of Nasty Plot, Hurricane, Heat Wave, and Focus Blast is totally an option, and is pretty scary. Next up we got the Slowbro Mega. He definitely can just keep this not in Mega form and just keep it as regular to abuse regen. But there's obviously the times where we want to just Mega Evolve and use that Shell Armor plus Calm Mind or something to just go for a late game sweep, which is definitely an option. So yeah, you can either fully lean into the non-Mega version, so just Fault, Scald, Future Sight, Teleport to Slack Off, so just literally run regular Slowbro, or you can just decide to run the Mega version. So Calm Mind plus Scald and some other coverage move. Let's just put Ice Beam here for example, and then Slack Off last is a very standard and good set. With all that defense, you don't really have to run something like Iron Defense, for example. But if you do want to, you have the option of this Iron Defense and or Power set. You can't get crit. Once this thing gets going, it's basically impossible to kill it without phasing it out, which isn't even killing it. It's just stopping the sweep. So yeah, this set is really, really potent late game, especially once all of Slowbro's checks are gone. If you just get rid of all those good special attackers that hit it super effectively, this thing can just absolutely just win games on its own, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, and if you're worried about yeah, you can also just if you're worried about dark types, you can just forego this Calm Mind. Just run kind of something like this, Scald, Iron Defense, Body Press, Slack Off. This is also not a bad set as well. Yeah, I don't know. Slowbro's very creative. You have a lot of different options you can use. Something I didn't even mention yet, stuff like Counter, which, yeah, no, it works pretty well. And then you can also run something Counter works better if you're, not Mega, by the way, because you can switch out and get the regen, so you don't have to spend a turn healing. But besides that, you also have Trick Room, which is also a pretty viable option. I don't know if it suits his team super well. Okay, maybe not for his team. Trick Room is very good, but in general, like Trick Room is a good idea if you have like maybe if you want to run like an offensive tank growth or something, that could be cool. And like even physical moves can work pretty well in Slowbro. Well, it's not super good, obviously. You only have base 75 attack. Like as a surprise option, like have Earthquake for something like Heat Run as a bait or whatever. Although Heat Run shouldn't be switching in on a Slowbro in the beginning to begin with, so whatever. Okay, anyway. Next up, we got the Mian Xiao. He could be running Reckless with High Jump Kick if he wanted to, but I feel like the more consistent option is Regenerator and Close Combat. So Close Combat, you don't have that 10% chance to take a dive. So, yeah. Life Orb is a pretty good move. It's a pretty good item on this set. You can also just run Boots. Maybe even Assault Vest as well. Like, all of these can work pretty well. And in terms of coverage, Mian has pretty decent options. Besides the obligatory CC and U-turn, and even knockoff is probably also pretty mandatory. Well, that only leaves you with one move slot, but you still have something like Blaze Kick to hit like something like Skarmory, which won't do too much to be fair. I think it's weaker than I forgot I said it. It's weaker than Close Combat. Yeah, something like Stone Edge is really good for something like Volcarona, for example, which, he wouldn't have to deal with because he has a Volcarona. Maybe you want to run Swords Dance, which I know doesn't work. Swords Dance and, like, Close Combat, Stone Edge for flying types, and, like, Knockoff. Yeah, this could be a pretty good set on its own. Yeah. Oh. I think this is better to be used as an offensive pivot, kind of like how Torn should also be used. While Torn does have better options, though, as well. Yeah, that's about it. Next up, we got Tangrowth. There's basically two main sets you can run with this. First one's the physically defensive set, so Rocky Helmet with regen, max HP, max defense. You're just gonna run something like Sleep Powder, Giga Drain, Knock, and then whatever filler move you need for the last slot. It can be Sludge Bomb to hit something like my Tapu Bulu, for example. It can be Earthquake to hit some Heat Ran on someone else's team or whatever. Could be Hidden Power Ice to hit Zygarde if Hidden Power Ice and Hidden Power in general were just allowed in the tier, which thankfully it isn't for me. As Zygarde gets to set up on this thing all day now because of that, thankfully. So yeah, that's about it. That's about it for this set. And then the other one is the Assault Vest set, which just makes it as a more general wall, and so you still have that high HP and high defense, but you can still invest into that Spadef with the Assault Vest, and you still can take a good amount of special hits. This was one of the better checks to Ash Greninja back in Generation 7, and it could still function like that, even though, well, Ash Greninja isn't allowed in our league, but, if it was here, that's a thing. Yeah, obviously you can't run Sleep Powder, so you just run, Earthquake, Focus Blast, or Sludge Bomb on the last slot is kind of the main thing there. Yeah. In terms of other sets, really not much you can do. If you want to try to do something like Manual Sun, you could try something like that with like Chlorophyll, Life Orb. This does have access to Growth, Solar Beam, Giga Drain. I'm sorry, not Giga Drain. Earthquake, and I don't know, whatever move lasts. Focus Blast could work potentially. So like something like this could work as a surprise option. Don't think he was gonna bring that against. Didn't think he was gonna bring that against me, but that was an option. Because I know Slowbro has Sunny Day and Teleport, which makes it a pretty decent Sunsetter. Obviously, you can't run the Heat Rock on it, unfortunately, though, because you do have to be a Mega. So yeah, but there's probably another Sunny Day setter on his team that could work well. Crocodiles up next. Intimidator and Moxie are both pretty good abilities. Anger Point's a lot more situational, especially since this isn't doubles or anything where you can proc your own Anger Point with some weak crit move from one of your allies. So yeah, Intimidate, Moxie. More often than not, Intimidate is probably better overall, but if you want to run like Scarf Moxie as like a late game sweeping option, that's always an idea. In terms of sets, Stealth Rock, it's a pretty good rocker, especially with the Intimidate. And then you can also run Earthquake and Knockoff, which is a pretty good stab. It's pretty hard to switch into this thing. Yeah, and then the last move can be whatever. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe like something like Toxic. You can run something like Close Combat to hit Dark types, certain Dark types harder. Maybe you want to run Stone Edge to hit Flying types as well. That can also be an option. And yeah, In terms of items, I already mentioned Moxie Scarf, and Intimidate Scarf is also not a bad option. And even Scarf Rocks is not terrible, just because, you know, you can, if your opponent has a Scarf, you can force out a good amount of switches. You can force a good amount of switches and then just set up rocks like that. Even like something like Life Orb can work decently well with this, or maybe just run Leftovers and make it bulky. So, yeah. Next up, we got Volcarona. This is one of the most dangerous setup sleepers in the game. You are 1,000,000,000,000,000% always going to be running boots on this thing, unless your opponent literally does not have a single setup hazard in the game. Well, other hazards aren't as much as I'm concerned. It's just rocks, obviously, with the 4 times weakness to rocks. Yeah, you don't want to be not boots for that. So yeah, and you basically never not want to be Quiver Dance either. So you know, Quiver Dance. Some choice of fire move, you can run Fury Dance. If you want to try to go for those special attack raises, you can run Fire Blast for a stronger hit, and you can just run Flamethrower for the stronger version of Fury Dance, but is more consistent than Fire Blast. And in terms of other moves, Psychic is fine, Bug Buzz is good, Giga Drain is also good as well, and then you also have just the option of a nice Roost. There's also a Safeguard as well. With the Safeguard set, you actually set up on and beat Chansey 1v1. So this set, yeah. The thing, while it's frail on the physically defensive side in terms of stats, is Firebug typing allows it a good amount of good resistances, especially to stuff like Grass and Steel. So you can actually switch on quite a bit of things, and you wall stuff like Kartana or Rillaboom or whatever. And yeah, and with Flame Body and with good EV investment, you can just switch on them, proc burns, and then just roost off the damage. So yeah, this thing is pretty good. It even has some good defensive utility. Yeah. In terms of more interesting options, you could try to run a non-cutie set, but that would not recommend. But you know, you could try to run like a sort of pivot set with Volcarona, just run like U-turn, Flamethrower, Roost, and like some other move, Toxic probably, since you know, it's a fire type, it scales out a good amount of steel types, you can run Toxic and pretty freely poison a good amount of things. Yeah. Next up, we got the Aromatisse. Yeah, you're gonna be running it for Bill the entire time. It's like Keeler's double specific ability. And you know, Aroma Veil is nice for blocking stuff like Encore or Taunt. So yeah. In terms of what this would do, basically Wish Protect move last, and then filler move last is kind of the main thing. I know you can try to run like stuff like Calm Mind stuff as well, but you know, the problem with Calm Mind is that either you run only one attacking move, or you forego having Protect to have some coverage against something like a Skarmory, for example. And would not recommend this, personally speaking, because 2-turn Wish Recovery is like, it's very iffy. It's hard to make work for sure. So yeah, but you know, the standard, like, just if you have a good matchup, you can definitely do something like this, though. It wouldn't be a bad idea. You just have to find the good matchup. That's the main thing. And then otherwise, you should just probably run something like Heal Bell or Toxic in the last slot here and not go for the Calm Mind stuff. So yeah. Next up, we got the Magazone, the Steel Trapper. And that's pretty much it. No, but it's in all seriousness. Magazone is pretty good. It's really strong as well. So even if you don't want to trap steel types, you can just run a very classic spec set and get a lot of mileage out of it. Thunderbolt plus Flash Cannon is really hard to switch into in general. So yeah. And then you can run like Riot. Oh yeah, obviously Volt Switch as well. Maybe like that's not Volt Switch. Volt Switch, and then maybe Toxic or Tri Attack or I don't know, whatever on the last slot can work pretty well. If you want to do more specialized steel trapping, oh yeah, with the spec set you run Analytic. If you don't need to trap steels, Magapole can still work against on a spec set, obviously, just to kill something like Corviknight or Skarmory. Although, if you're finding those things, they're more likely than not they're going to be having Shed Shell. So yeah, you're going to have to watch out for that. But yeah, besides the spec set, if you want to go for a more specific trapping set, like against Ferrothorn, you can run. I don't actually know the exact set. Like it's like Leftovers, Magapole, and then you know defense, Body Press, and I think plus 4 Body Press kills like specially defensive Ferrothorn, something like that, and then +6 definitely kills or something like that. I don't remember the damage calcs. I haven't played a Gen 8 OU in quite a while, But you know, this is definitely still a viable option. Maybe like flash cannon. And then, actually no, I think I remember this was expert build. Yeah, I think this guarantees like the +4 body press kill threat throwing or whatever. So yeah, this is a pretty good set. It gives you still utility outside of the steel trapping thing. And then also there is the air balloon magnet rise set, which lets you trap Excadrill. The concept is you switch in on the Excadrill. Obviously they have to go for the Iron Head flinch, or they have to go for Iron Head or something to hit you. If assuming they don't flinch you, you get the magnet rise off, and then you can freely set up Iron defenses and they can't switch out. So this is a very effective way of trapping Excadrill. It's a variation off of a Gen 5 Magnezone trapping set. That one used to run Sunny Day and Hidden Power Fire, which, you know, it was really sick. But yeah, since we don't have a Hidden Power Fire anymore, you're gonna have to use a few ways to kill it, and Iron Defense Body Press is definitely a good way of abusing extra. So yeah. That's pretty much it. Next up we got Masquerain. You know, just webs. I mean, besides that, it obviously has a lot more stuff going for it. Intimidate is always going to be a nice ability. I'm always running boots on this thing since the 4 times just rocks. But yeah, Quiver Dance is not a bad option for obvious reasons. I mean, he already has a nice Quiver Dancer in Volcarona. I think double QD kind of core there, offensive core there can be kind of nice. Obviously, it's not as strong or as fast or as bulky as Volcarona, but it can definitely make this work, especially in a draft league environment. In terms of moves, Bug Buzz and Air Slash are good stabs, and then it also has access to a lot of good coverage moves. So it has access to Ice Beam and Hydro Pump and Giga Drain and all that stuff. It makes it a lot more variable. Scald as well. Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah, that's about it. And last up we got Draculac. I don't know what this thing would do at all. I'll be frank. Does it even get Dragon Darts? No, it does not. So, like, what kind of physical dragon does it get? Okay, that's not what I want. Okay, gets Outrage. Okay, maybe you could try to run, like, a Dragon Dance set, maybe? I don't know. Dragon Dance, like, Outrage. Phantom Force, I guess, and then, like, Steel? I don't know. This could maybe work. I mean, more often than not, it's not going to be very good, though. So, you know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, one more thing. You might be able to try to run screens with this as well. That wouldn't be a bad screen setter. It's kind of fast. So, you know, you can set up screens, get a nice U-turn off into whatever mons you want. Obviously, you're going to really like playing with that. Yeah. Okay, so that's about it with this team. And we're just going to go into my team. So the whole concept behind the team was basically T-Spike to Selgor plus Subprotect Zygarde. Basically just being the most annoying piece of shit you could possibly be, you know. Just your standard, you know. But yeah, first up we got the Subprotect Zygarde. Even if I don't get T-Spikes up, Subprotect is going to be making it really annoying to break my Zygarde, especially with my Spadef and all that. Just Dragon Dance up, sub, protect, and get all my health back and whatnot. With Grassy Terrain up, if I do a sub and then a protect, I get all my health back from the substitute, so that's pretty good for me. And then Dragon Dance 1000 Arrows is pretty standard. Next up, we got the Entei, and this is the fun Entei. It's Calm Mind Lava Plume with Solar Beam and Power Earth. So he does have that Mega Slowbro, and my team can't actually break through it very well at all, especially if it's Iron Defense. So I was like, fuck it, we're gonna run Calm Mind Entei. And so Calm Mind Solar Beam Entei, so +1 Solar Beam does kill non-specially defensive Mega Slowbros, but since I have that Grassy Terrain, if I do have the Grassy Terrain up, it will kill any single Slowbro no matter what. Best part is he can't run a Rindo Berry or whatever to try to take it because he has to be Mega Slowbro. So yeah, this is kind of the bait option. I'm hoping he doesn't notice. Yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't think of the power of Solar Beam after I set up a Calm Mind in his face and whatnot. So yeah, it's a more bulky version of Entei. Speaking of, just because like, while there are some mons that I would like to be as fast as, for example, the Volcarona, I figured, well, for the Volcarona specifically, it's a lot better for me to just be bulky in general because, you know, I want to take more hits from the Volcarona. I do miss out on Crocodile here, though, if I try to run the speed stuff, so that is kind of stuck for me, but, you know, whatever. No point in running Inner Focus either, so I just run Pressure. Next up, we got the Tornadus. Just ran a nice, nasty Plot 3 attack variant. Hurricane, Heat Wave, and Grass Knot. Grass Knot's there for the Mega Slowbro, Heat Wave's there for stuff like the Magnezone, and Hurricane's for everything else. He doesn't really have a lot of good flying resist if you look at his team, so yeah, pretty good for me. Anyway, next up we got a Calm Mind Slowking Galar. It's just a Calm Mind 2 attack variant with Slack Off. Figured that I could take a nice knock from Crocodile and try to burn it or just hit it with a +1 Scald and whatever, so that could be really nice. And then Sludge Bomb's there for just general, you know, sludge bombing. The poison can be nice in, like, if I had a 1v1 something like a Volcarona. Although, yeah, Psyshock would probably be better overall, but that means I do worse against Mega Slowbro Calm Mind. So yeah, Sludge Bomb was the best mid-ground overall. If I could try to get a poison, that would be really nice for me, and it would probably help me win the 1v1 overall in the long term, as long as I don't get crit or whatever. So yeah. Next up we got the Slowbro. Just max HP, max speed, and I'm running a Final Gambit set. Slowbro is faster than everything on his team. I did decide to make it max speed since it is faster than +1 Masquerain, still with all the speed. So in case that Masquerain goes out of hand, I can just go to the Slowbro and Final Gambit to take it out. And then yeah, Toxic Spikes, Spikes, and Bug Buzz. Bug Buzz just first hitting something like Tangrowth who tries to get cocky on the switch or whatever. Yeah, the last thing is the Tapu Bulu, and I'm running a Swords Dance 3 attack range. Life Orb, Horn Leech, Mega Horn, and Stone Edge. Mega Horn is for the Tangrowth, obviously, and Stone Edge is for Tornadus and Volcarona. So Stone Edge is more so like if I hit the Tornadus and Volcarona switch, they die. Mega Horn is if I set up a Sword Dance as the Tangrowth switches in, +2 Life Orb Mega Horn will KO any variant of Tangrowth as long as they aren't Tanga Berry. So yeah, I didn't think he would really run Tanga Berry anyways. So yeah. Anyway, this is probably the most creative team I've ever made. This is a lot of. It's not that creative, but like it's a lot of hidden secret text for me. You know, I don't really usually think about this that super well, at least. Anyway, let's get into the battle. I need to find my cursor. There we go, and then we switch over here. Yeah. Okay. So, as I look at this, I was like, fuck it, we're just gonna lead a Slowbro and see what happens. If he leads Torn, I'm just gonna Final Gambit immediately, and if I can get rid of the Torn, that's gonna be super good for my team in general. So let's just start. So I lead a Slowbro, he goes Torn, I'm like, okay, Final Gambit time, and I knock it out. Yeah. So I don't get T-Spikes up after all, but which would have been really nice against my team if you haven't noticed. Like, look, T-Spike, Slowbro has to be T-Spike. There's no way this Crook is running heavy duty boots. Mienshao might have boots, but, you know, probably doesn't. It turns out later, I find out it is Life Orb, so yeah, I would have gotten poison. Tangrowth would have gotten poison probably as well. It probably wasn't boots. Masquerain is the only thing that wouldn't have gotten poison. And without his removal, because Torn was almost 100% his defogger, like, goddamn, Toxic Spikes would have got in. But I really wanted to get the kill on Tornadus because that thing was super annoying to my team. So that's why I went for it in the end, and I got the Torn, so that's good for me. Next, I just lead my own Torn into the Crook. Fearing Scarf Stone Edge, I just decided to switch out here. It does go for the Stone Edge, does a nice 32%, but whatever. I just go for the Swords Dance here, since Crook probably doesn't have anything to hit me with. And now, here we go. The +2 into Tangrowth. Dude, this is the freest. Even if he predicts the Mega Horn and switches to something like Masquerain, it's still probably going to do like 40 or 50%. Like, Tapu Bulu is super strong. So, you know, we're just going to go for the nice Mega Horn here. It's going to take it out. This is pain. This is pain and suffering. This is really pain and suffering. Anyway, so it turns out we don't get the +2 Mega Horn off. Kinda sad. You know, whatever. I have a better idea. I go Entei here. I'm gonna set up the Calm Mind. There's no way he's staying. He goes Slowbro. Oh, I'm like, okay. I still have one turn of Grassy Terrain. Boom! Power of Solar Beam, baby. It's gonna kill. It does kill. Oh my god. Yeah, Heat Tech, baby. I'm just nice. I'm just nice on the stick, bro. Anyway, Crook comes in. I'm just like, fuck it. I'm gonna sack the Entei. Because if you look at this right now, first off, I do actually take an earthquake from the crocodile, so first off, that doesn't matter. So I was just gonna go for a lava plume chip, and then potentially I can win with that tornadus at the end there, so that could be really nice for me. If this was choice locked, I could have also gone Zygarde here first. I mean, he doesn't really have a good Zygarde answer if you look at his team right now. So yeah, Zygarde was also a good switch in after this crocodile, especially if it was Scarf choice lock. But yeah, so I was like, whatever. I can take an earthquake. I can go for the lava plume and get some good damage, possibly even a burn. So yeah, go for the lava plume. Don't get the knockout, and then he misses Stone Edge. A little bit of retribution for my Tapu Bulu there, and I take out the crocodile with the lava plume. Yeah, I don't feel bad about that miss at all. not even a little bit. Anyway, Mienshao comes out. Just let my Entei go to the close combat. Entei, you did a good job. Anyways, you get 2 kills. That was 1 more than I was expecting. So yeah, good for me. The Mienshao comes in, goes close combat. As I said before, it is Life Orb. Go Torn here, and I'm like, oh, fuck it. It's time to drop him. Hurricane. Dead. Okay, but before I go into that. So yeah. If I Hurricane 3 times and it lands 3 times, I win the game. But you know what the chances of landing 3 Hurricanes in a row are? I don't actually remember because I didn't do the math before I came in here. Well, let's do it right now. So, you know, it's a 70% accurate move, right? And then you got to multiply that by itself 2 more times, and that looks like a 34% chance of landing 3 Hurricanes in a row. Well, I only landed 1, and I'm pretty sure that crit actually mattered because that might have been a Solfest Tangrowth. So, yeah, 1. Also, I got a crit. A 2. And a 3. So yeah, I win, but at what cost? My dignity. Yeah, was that deserved? Maybe, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, look. Okay, well, let's talk about this a little bit. So I definitely got way luckier. I'm still salty about that Megacorn pistol, but you know, after what happened, I feel really bad because, like, for example, if I missed on that Masquerain, would have gotten a cutie up, and then I'm sure that thing had like Ice Beam, and I'm 100% sure I had Ice Beam. I have a Zygarde, so yeah, definitely had to have Ice Beam, and then I would have had to call Mind War him with the Slow King Galar. Yeah, not ideal. I actually don't know who would win that fight. I actually don't know. He would have had the +1. I think I was doing some calcs with this earlier. Basically, like, as long as he doesn't crit, it would just kind of come down to stalemate. But I have more hack stuff because I have the Sludge Bomb 30% chance to poison. So maybe I would have won that overall, but still, like, it should have come to that versus me landing 3 Hurricanes in a row, which is a very low chance. So yeah, that was yeah, I got really lucky. Basically that's the main thing, and I feel really bad. Yeah. So that's about it. Basically, you know, I missed the Mega Horn. Basically, important things. I missed the Mega Horn. Oh wait, no. First important thing. I final game into the Torn. Missed the Mega Horn. Got my Power Room Solar Beam thing to work, and then also got an extra kill afterwards because that was definitely not deserved. And then I just Hurricane 3 times. So yeah, that was the game. That was basically the important things. Yeah, I still feel really bad, but you know, GG's my opponent. I think next time if we ever do fight again, like in playoffs, you know, I'm not gonna get this lucky next time for sure. So he definitely has a lot better chance of beating me than what just happened here. I don't think this 3-0 was really representative of how close this game was. Because if I missed any one of those Hurricanes, like, sheesh, man, it would have been over, dude. So yeah, GG's again. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.